quiet. Check it out, yo. Plain spades, reminiscing on days before niggas started shooting, we could catch fades. It's like the world a lot scarier than scrapping names. And the only thing that we became was rap. I got a baby in my Little Sahar, man, won't be quiet. Check it out, yo. Plain spades, reminiscing on days before niggas started shooting, we would still catch fades. It's like the world's a lot scarier than scrapping names. And the only thing that we became was raps and debates. Cause all my brother cancer that is trapping in J's. Minds fucked up from the pills and the haze. Pop said we hard-headed, stuck in our ways. So I be praying to the most side and it's just a phase. Always surprised and always amazed. Especially at what's been getting radio plays. I wanna be the cataclysm, so cataclysm. Bomb autonomy and take it back to lyricism. But you know nowadays, it seems like it's forbidden. Anybody in the industry knows they ain't fucking with them. And anyone I'm signed, they wanna be outshined. So I guess it's just me, myself, and all these empty lines. I never knew that being nice would get you penalized. Once you blowing up, they wanna know your penis size. Hoes all staring, saying you got dreamy eyes. And if you ain't fake, they wanna see you demonized. If they be dropping gems, and it's low as El Dorado, a midnight marauder, young desperado with a bravado. That's a hard act to follow. Make your favorite rapper look like amateurs at the Apollo. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Me and my Bible steady painting pictures like Picasso. Fakes trying to clock us like Pablo and Gustavo. Go and tell, straight to the Gestapo. Hola, hablo español, el hombre blanco, es el diablo. Now I'm going over heads like a poncho, trying to stack chips with more cheese than some nachos. Why you acting macho? Your whole clique is gato. They ain't want beef, but I'm feeling like a taco. Don't get it twisted like a rasta. Don't be bringing none of that bullshit into me casa. You ain't seen this much crap since the Contras. Belly of the beast, we all live inside a monster. That's why I be thanking God I'm alive, tapping into different vibes, getting more than a scribe. Every verse of open letter sent to all the tribes. Lost in the guild, said he struggled to survive, The things I seen with a pair of eyes got me out here living in this like desensitized. Part of the reason that I'm always never surprised. I heard the screams of brothers and see mothers that cried. See the soul leave a body right before he died. 23 years old, and down before his prime. While your favorite rapper only talking dollar signs. But when our people in trouble, they quiet as a mime. Every day is the struggle, I speak it through these lines. That's how I know they can relate, I speak their daily lives. I'm representing for my nation, all the lost tribes. All my people that been locked up 1825. Being born a minority was their first crime. They serve and protect, choking your next 7 is fine. They murder one of us with guilty verdict when they try. They wonder why they get no respect and we call them swine. Live in a time where you lose your life and become a vine. Friends turn to t-shirts, corners turn to shrines. And if our leader ain't a Pharisee, then he's a scribe. Cause he ain't coming out unless he thinks he can scrape a dime. Get his name in the paper, face in the line. The world's black and white, and you better pick a side. If I wasn't strong enough, then I would break inside. But I found the truth right before I lost my mind. Sorry, mama, I promised it wouldn't change me, but I would've wanted to say it had I remained the same me. And I know you feel the same way if they slay me. So when I say the white man is the devil, don't blame me. I'm not here to make friends, kiss babies, shake hands for politics. Yo, what's affecting all the college kids? I mean, why did the students shoot up in colleges? Newborns found in shopping bags and garbages. All these problems that nobody acknowledges. Promise you one thing, you don't acknowledge this. Like that.
West till they bury me. I run west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. One west till they bury me. I run west till they bury me. I run west till they bury me. be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't hearing me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy, get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar like a glycerin. Hit your heart, bring it. Make you live again, get a dividend till we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit, I told you shit phenomenal. Nominee and domino, so what the fuck you trying to do? Rhyming comical, this is funny until I'm on you. Bring apocalypse to the pussy niggas, poppin' shit. Team of all-stars, I coach them up like a Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vaginas, so we go check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I'm rhyming is a regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era when niggas smoking up like a parliament. The flow been stupid. Shit's got a retarded sense on the dominance of one west rising the prominent. Cause I be one west to the depth till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the depth till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the depth till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the depth till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, use my maneuvers. Like I got proof by the Uber. Rhymes hard like they've been used by me.
Yeah, Shalom Israel. Yeah, Shalom. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Gen.YAHANNA. We have been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. Tonight is the Wednesday night law class, right? But before we get into the class, we're gonna just recap the time frames of the classes during the week. All right. On Monday is the Monday night history class, which is done by Priest and Officer Maka Kobal. Tuesday is the Brotherhood class, which is done by Priest and Officer Swap Yala. On Wednesday, which is tonight, right, is the law class, right, which is usually done by Priest and Officer Matkwayak, right. I am Priest and Officer Maikwa, right, and I'll be holding on the class on behalf of him tonight. All right. On a Wednesday, we do not have any classes locally, but from time to time, we do stream the classes straight out of Harlem, New York, with 12 Shield General Mahaiman. On a Friday is the Lashawan Kwadash, right, or the Holy Tongue, the Hebrew tongue, right. So on a Friday is the Hebrew class with Priest and Officer Yakad, right. In this class, you will learn to write, speak, and also to read the ancient, the modern Hebrew, which is the Assyrian Hebrew, and the ancient or the Paleo Hebrew, right? This is on a Friday. On a Saturday, right, is the Sabbath service, right, which is also done by Priest and Officer Yakad and Priest and Officer Sowapiala, right? From time to time, you may see other brothers conducting the class as the days go along, right? On a Sunday, right, is our local scripture breakdown class here in Trinidad. This is done by our camp leader here in Trinidad, which is Priest and Officer Galawan. He does the scripture breakdown. And the scripture breakdown class is a highly interactive class, so you can tune in and ask your questions, right, and have them answered, whatever questions you may have about the Bible, all right? You can tune in and have them answered, right? All these classes run from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., right? With the exception of the Sabbath service, right? Which runs from 10 a.m. in the morning to 12 p.m. at noon, right? And those are the classes locally here in Trinidad, right? With the I.S.U.P.K Trinidad camp, right? So with that out of the way, we're going to get straight into it, right? And we're going to get in a little bit about the blueprint that was given for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man while he is supposed to live on the face of the earth, right? And as you can see, all over the earth, no matter what news station you tune into, all right, all the news articles, things totally chaotic all over the world, all right? People getting killed left, right, and center, and all kind of diseases. Coronavirus is three or four different strains coronavirus now, right? You see countries battling to get vaccines, right, for their people, understand? And especially for the third world countries, they're tremendously suffering because they now start to realize that they don't really have a voice when it comes to matters and opinions on a global scale. Understand? Just a couple days ago, I was listening to the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro. Understand? And he describing his battle to get vaccines for the coronavirus, right? And until he had to go to because of the sanctions of the United States on Venezuela, he had to go to Russia, right? To try to order coronavirus vaccines, right? Because the United States was not giving them any, right? And all the partners that relate or do trade with the United States don't want to give them any because they know they are afraid that they end up on some sort of blacklist, understand? And their country not get the vaccines as well, all right, by trying to help Venezuela. So Venezuela basically end up on their own, floating in the middle of nowhere, right? And fortunately for them, they end up getting vaccines from Russia, right? Right, so it's a lot of chaos going on around the world right now, right? So you just hold Baruch 4 and verse 1 from Babakasha, right? So a lot of chaos going around the world, right? When it comes to all these different events that are happening, right? And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man who belong to the lost 12 tribes of Israel, when they hear about the Israelites in the Bible, right? These Israelites are not just random people that we just come across in the Bible. When they trace back the true ancestry of these people, they are the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today, right? And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today does not know that he belong to the biblical Israelites of the Bible, right? Because of Christianity and Egyptology and all the New Age movement, right? Scientology and all these different religions that keep creeping up on him, right? He does not know that he is the biblical Jews of the Bible, right? That man written, that nation written about in the Bible, he belongs to that nation, the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? And he is caught up in all this chaos that is going on in the world today, right? That he is starting to understand now the amount of oppression and fight that he has to push back. Understand? Because a lot of strange things keep happening to the black man. If it's not police brutality, understand, is some sort of disease, is HIV, is high blood sugar, right? It is high blood pressure, right? The black man is number one in most of these cases, right? And plenty of the things we're going through is because we do follow the blueprint that the Most High gave us, right? Which is the King James 1611 Bible, right? Because of how we came up in Christianity and all these different denominations, we tend to write up the Bible as mystical or something, or like stories. Understand? And we don't understand that the Bible is a manual for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? So you give up Baruch chapter 1, chapter 4, Salakia, chapter 4 and verse 1, Babakasha.
The book of Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High.
Right. So it starts off by saying this is the book of the commandments of the Most High, right? And when you look at all the other books or all the other denomination, all the other books that claim to be the word of the Most High, right? In the matters of everyday life and things actually going on today, none of them had the answer. And understand? Because if they had the answer, they would have been out there speaking to the people in the world and coming up with a solution. None of them had the solution. Understand? But as we go along tonight, you go understand why the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is in this condition, right? So this book, right, which is the King James 1611 Bible, is the book of the commandments of the Most High. And with this first line here, right, the Christian church does fall apart. Understand? Because the Christian church believe that they don't have to follow the commandments of God. Right? They don't have to do the things written in this book aforetime. And understand the Christians to believe, right, that if we just somehow magically filled with emotion, understand, believe in the somehow in your mind that they don't have to do nothing, and Christ will just come and save you magically. That is where they believe. Then as I come from, that you will get pulled out, right, of this world and go up in heaven, and you will be singing with the angels and playing harp. Then understand, and holding hands and singing songs, right, and kumbaya like wrong fire. But all that is not true according to the Bible, right? And as we go in, we will get to understand that, right? So this is the book of the commandments of the Most High. Go ahead.
And the law that endureth forever.
Right, and this law, right, this is what the world fails to understand, but the true prophets of the Most High understand this, that the law of the Most High endured forever. Understand? And we think that because of these religious denominations, that these laws done away with, right, and not in effect anymore, and it doesn't affect us now, right? But every day when you look around, it's affecting us. That is why the black man in the bottom of society, and that is why he is in all the different turmoils that we're in. That's why we have things like the coronavirus and all these different things, because the world appears to be doing what it wants. And from you want to eat where you want, sleep with who you want, and people waking up one day and say there's not a man anymore. And some of them don't even have a gender again. That they're calling the self them and they. And they don't identify with male and female anymore, right? And all these things that happening around the world, right, is because the entire world is out of course, right? And no one follows the things that the Most High laid down for us to do, right? So the entire world is out of course, right? Go ahead.
All that keep it shall come to life.
Right? But the law written aforetime say all those that keep it shall come to life. Go ahead.
But such as leave it shall die.
But such as leave it shall die. You understand where I'm from? Right? And the first thing somebody go and say, well, look, I keeping the laws. Understand? And look, I'm not keeping the laws, but look, I alive. Understand? But according to the Bible, you literally the congregation of the dead. You understand where I'm from? You're not alive. You understand? You're just basically existing, but you ain't start to live yet. You understand? Because you ain't start to live the life that the Most High wants you to live. You ain't start to follow the blueprint that the Most High laid down for you, right? And that is why we seem to find ourselves in some peculiar situations while walking on the face of the earth. And have massive challenges that you don't seem to have the answer for. Understand? But here the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA, right, under the prophets of the Most High, you will get the answers for every question that you can think about, because the blueprint was already there. There's not that we come up with in we mind that is of our own. This blueprint was written from our forefathers straight down to this day, and it still applies today. All the things still applies today. Understand? So back then, it wasn't supposed to be a homosexual. Today, it was not supposed to be a homosexual. You understand? But somehow coming along the line, and our forefathers disobeyed the commandments of the Most High, right? And now the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is under this punishment of the Most High. The Bible calls it curses, right? The curses not talking about obscene language, but they're talking about punishments of the Most High, under the punishments. And these punishments exist in our everyday life, understand? And we tend to write it off as nothing, understand? So when the doctor tell you have some strange form of arthritis, and he tell you don't eat meat no more, he just tell you don't eat meat. Understand? But you ain't considering understand that the Bible already had a dietary law, and it's not just don't eat meat no more. It was a certain type of meat that you wasn't supposed to eat. Understand? So you eat things that you're not supposed to eat, all kind of lactic acid and all kind of things that build up in the joints. And when you become at an older age, now you find all your fingers becoming crippled, your back starting to bend. Understand? And you start to take some type of strange deformation, and the doctor writing it off as something just casual. But these things stem from not following the laws and especially the dietary laws that the Most High gave us to follow. Right? That was the end of Baruch 4:1, Baba. right? You give me Revelations 5 and 10, Baba Kusha. And so the Most High gave us this instruction manual for us to follow, right? And things for us to do upon the face of the earth, right? And the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right, was a special or is a special people unto the Most High, and we don't know it. Understand? Because of these religious denominations we came up in, right? That teach us that that we are the Gentiles and basically making the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man feel that there is nothing in society. And that's where I come from, that they were nothing special. But according to the Bible, the nation of Israel, which is the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, was is God's chosen people, right? They were special people upon the face of the earth. They were people that were supposed to remain separate from the other nations, right? They were separate people, holy unto himself, holy unto the Most High, right? The word holy means separate, right? Separate unto the Most High, right? But by us sinning against the Most High and breaking his laws, right, cause us to be in the position we are today, not knowing who we are, not having an identity, not having not knowing about our culture and about our history, right? Give me Revelation 5 and 10, Baba Kusha.
Revelation chapter 5 and verse 10. And has made us unto our power kings and priests.
Right, and the Revelation 5 and 10 says, the Most High made us unto him to be priests and kings on the earth. Right, and that is where the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man fall away from. All right, when you say we're supposed to be priests and kings, we're supposed to be doing the things, right, the service of God, and we're supposed to inherit the inheritance that the Most High gave us upon the face of the earth. Right, and we're supposed to be the rulers and judges of the earth. Right, and the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man has fallen away from that. Right, continue with more, Baba Kusha.
And we shall reign on the earth.
Right, and that is what you're supposed to do. We're supposed to reign on the earth, meaning that we're supposed to be in rulership with our King Yahawashi, which is Jesus Christ, as we know it in the Hebrew. Right, jump back to Baruch 4 and 1. And go down to verse jump back to 4 and go down to verse 6, Baba Kusha. Right, and we're supposed to rule with Christ on the earth. Understand? But because we continue to break the Most High laws and sin against the Most High, when we talk about sin is just not doing bad things like according to the Christian church. Sin is breaking the laws of the Most High, and the only way we can break the laws of the Most High, right, is or know that they break the laws of the Most High is by actually going in the scriptures and finding out what are the laws of the Most High, and then you will be able to understand if you break the Most High's laws or not, right? Go ahead, Officer Shabba.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 6. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction.
Right, and the Most High say, right, we were sold to the nations, not for our destruction. The Most High didn't send us into captivity to serve under the Syrians and the East Indians, right, and the white man today, right, because this is the empire of the white man, or their forefather called Esau today, right, which is scripture described as Babylon the Great, right, which we know today as America, right. So we were sent in this captivity, right, in the captivity of America, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, through what is known as the biggest slave trade known about today to man, which is the Atlantic slave trade. You understand? The Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right, when Jerusalem fell in 70 AD, they flee into Africa, right, and then now the Africans, the native Africans, sold the Jews into slavery. So it was not Africans selling Africans into slavery, but Africans selling Jews or Israelites into slavery to the white man, right? And the white man brought us across here into the Americas in the slave trade, right? And many of the ships that build that was built was Arab ships, and understand, Arabian ships that was, of course, here to the West Indies, right? And even the native Indian man who was over here in the West Indies, right? When the white man came, white man take his land, rape his wife, and understand, kill the babies, and understand, and even took some of them from the Americas back to Spain and England and all the different places. And understand, so they end up serving captivity. Some of them end up serving captivity in Europe, and understand, from the Americas. And understand, so Israel scattered all over the face of the earth, right? Today. But predominantly the tribes are on the western side of the world, right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
But because you moved the Mosai to wrath, you was delivered into the enemies.
That's right. And because we moved the Mosai to wrath, we were delivered unto our enemies. Understand? Go ahead.
Verse 7, for you provoked him,
Right,
that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High.
That's right. That is how we provoke the Most High. So because we have the records of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, we can understand the problem. And understand, we can look back in our records and see that the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man moved their God and understand our power to wrath. Because what we choose to do, we choose to what? Sacrifice on the devil. We choose to follow the other religions of the nations. Understand? So we choose to serve Mother Lakshmi and travel to Mecca. Understand? Right? And go in the Christian church and serve white Jesus. Right? Which is a painting Caesar Borgia. Right? All these things we choose to do. We choose to age movement who calling the new age movement saying them is God, so they're calling the self God, right? And I can't know other them, and understand Egyptology, and understand love the Egyptians, and understand, right? And still today, right? The still trying to figure out the hieroglyphics, understand, right? And all the hieroglyphic books that are following written by white people. You understand? All these different things happening upon the face of the earth, right? But when we look back in our records, we could understand that the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man never choose, right, or walked away from following the things that the Most High laid down for us, from following the laws that He set out for us, right? And that, and by making that sacrifice on the devils, now we find ourselves in captivity. We find ourselves in the captivity of America. We find ourselves working 4 and 5 jobs just for us to pay the bills, or to try to send the children to school. Understand? The black man today facing black and black crime. Understand? Right? The black man today facing extremely long and unjust prison sentences. You understand where I'm from? All kind of laws they're creating to trap the black man. You understand that the right, we go legalize weed, right? And now that people feel comfortable and get relaxed to carry on weed, now when the charge that will hit you now, you're going straight to prison. It's not fine again. And as I'm from, it's jail time for you. And as I'm from, the laws becoming very strict and very oppressing upon the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Even your car, you understand? Your tire bad, 1,000. And understand? Locally down here in Trinidad, a light brake, a light about 750. And understand? Seat belt 1,000. And understand? And you find going higher and higher and higher. And understand? Until this police program that is shown on TV6, Beyond the Tape. And understand? Until one of the policemen boasting that the lowest fine that they have in the police book is $750. So any crime or any traffic offense in the books and laws that Trinidad and Tobago today is $750 or more. And that's where I'm coming from. And $750 for the average person, that is almost about half the salary. And that's for the basic man on the street. And that's where I'm coming from, right? Or at least a third of the salary. You understand? So that is the kind of oppression the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man facing today. You understand? Because why? We don't want to come back and do the things that the Most High say for us to do. Right? Alright, that was the end of that, right?
Yeah, so like I said,
go ahead, Officer Shah.
That thing that you're talking about with the fine on them, right? So yeah, you know, a child with that fella to go sand, right?
Right.
So he didn't have my son and thing, right? So I see the police pull him over and thing, but I find him moving real cool.
Yeah.
And things I say, but why this man moving so cool and thing? I say, well, boy, he has been studying it and thing. When the police officer give him the ticket and he see the price what the fine is. The fine is $1,000, but he started take on the officers and them
Yeah, he started studying now.
Yeah, he started studying now and like he said, but why get any? He started saying, why get any money to pay this something? Why you charge me $1,000 for a master and all kind of thing? And he started carrying on and thing. And then after, but he's so mad, he take the fine and throw it on the ground. The policeman say, you threw that on the ground?
What, he threw the ticket on the ground?
Yeah, he threw it on the ground. He say, I better charge you for loitering. And things say, see again, I take him and things say, when he get back, he says, no, I ain't sure that it get away from him. And things.
And that is exactly what happened to the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, to the extra oppression coming on him. And that's where I'm coming from. So now at every angle, right? Don't matter how we turn. You understand? Because even like all of different traffic offense and ticket for mass and things, just now people free to come outside. And understand? Just to walk down the street, they don't know what could happen. And that's where I'm coming from, right? Just for the average man to drive a car become a ridiculous expense in Trinidad right now. And understand? Because just by you driving from a few kilometers, understand, you can end up with a couple thousand in fines if you do have everything regulated. Understand? If you can afford, understand, to rectify the problems on these vehicles, understand, because some people they're hustling, understand, and you know you might get paid next week Friday, and you know you're going to fix the light, but understand, you gotta use the vehicle to go to your destination, to get to work or to go to wherever you need to do, understand, to make it your hustle or make it your dollar during the day. You understand where I'm from? And that is the time an officer might stop you. You understand where I'm from? And you know that you can't tell them I'm going to get paid next week. You understand? They're not going to give you the ticket. You understand? And if you get a ticket, look at seatbelt $3 grand. You understand where I'm from? Right? I think that's 1,000 the first attempt, and then three after. Right? And when you get a ticket like that, how are you paying that? You understand where I'm from? How are you going to eat? You understand where I'm from? Right? And if you don't pay it, is jail term and demerit points. When they introduce on traffic license now. You understand where I'm from? So just now, the average man will be forced to be turned back into a pedestrian to walk and take public transport. While the people who can afford it, they are the ones who will be on the road to drive. You understand? And then you know what they're gonna say? We solve traffic. You understand? Because they take half of the cars off the road, because half of the cars people just can't afford to drive again. Right? And that is how serious the level of oppression is in Trinidad right now. Even I remember like recently when they built the stores in Library, understand? When they see all the vendors, the boots the vendors were selling in was too dilapidated, and they come and refurbish it and build nice concrete counters, and when everybody getting ready to move in, they say, all right, well, if you want to use this, you have to pay. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? And that was people struggling, because if they could have really afford to build a real nice booth to sell the goods from, they would have do it before they come to renovate it. You understand where I'm coming from? But when they're thinking that they're gonna get help from the company, what happened? And understand, the company turn around and charge them now to sell in the booth, you understand? And that is real oppression for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. When the company could afford to give them that for free, because the material that they use to refurbish them thing is nothing. You understand? The company does lost that every day. You understand? Because a big dump truck with concrete doesn't go back in the factory with concrete, they dump it on the side of the road. You understand? And that is the level of oppression. You understand? And one dump truck, a truck that build all them different booths straight down the whole stretch in Library. You understand? And that is the level of oppression that does bring on people. You understand? Or when a company come into the community and say, well, you will find jobs, they always talking about defense line. You understand? They must bringing people from the fence line and all the different kind of thing. You understand? So there's a lot of ways and strategies that is used to oppress the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. And if we do have people over here to explain these things here, for you to understand through the scriptures, they wouldn't understand what's going on. They wouldn't understand is spiritual warfare against it. They would just think it's a that happen every day in life. But that is not true according to the Bible. According to the Bible, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man under constant oppression from all these other nations. And I found just the other day, the Australian this company, Super Farm, almost millions the stand to make by some deal that they're coming in with. Understand? But the name is Super Farm, so nobody don't know who owned the company. Understand? But happened just now in the media release, the discover was I think is Hadid or one of them own the Super Farm brand. And they know that it's a big brand in Trinidad. And because people just go and get all the medical equipment and all kind of thing inside it. And so there's hide behind the name. But when the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man think, well, all right, I'm not going by Jimmy Abu now, going here. You're still buying. From Jimmy Abu, because just as the scripture say, that the curses on me. We gotta go to the nations for all things. You want water, and they go in blue waters, the other nation. You choose not to go in blue water and they go on the sandy, the other nations. You go on Fiji, the other nations. Don't matter where you go. You want fast food, the other nations, and so it going. So the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man under a constant curse. But we wouldn't know that curse unless somebody explain it to we in the scriptures. And then we will be able to know what? We need to separate and come together as one. Come together under the I.S.U.P.K, under command in GEN.YAHANNA. And set a new course. And navigate our way through this society, through this fallen empire. Right? From there you give me Romans 9 and verse 1, Babakusha. Right? And just as we said before, the Most High designed the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to be priests and kings on the earth. We were supposed to be given the laws of the Most High, and we're supposed to be the rulers of the earth, right? And handling all the affairs of the Most High above the other nations, right? And when people hear above, they'll say that is ridiculous. That's not in the Bible. So you will come to that after, right? But you'll give me the Romans 9 and 1 back, Bishop.
Romans 9 and verse 1. I say the truth in Christ.
Right, you say the truth in Christ when?
I lie not. My consciousness also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit. Verse 2. That I have great heaviness and continuous sorrow in my heart.
That's right, it grieving him. What he knew when?
3. Verse 3. For I could wish that myself were cursed.
He could wish himself separate from Christ. Well,
for my brethren.
For his brethren, right? So he said he could wish himself separate from Christ for his brethren, right? Well,
my kinsmen.
The kinsmen. So he's telling you who he brethren. He's going to explain. Paul going to explain it in Romans chapter 9. Paul going to explain who his brethren is in the scriptures. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Continue the last part in verse 3,
according to the flesh.
According to the flesh. So he's saying now the brethren are going to talk about the people, right, who concerning Christ is according to the flesh. You understand? So all the Christians should say, well, we spiritual Israelites, they are not spiritual Israelites. This way Paul is talking about is according to the flesh. So it's something physical you could see, right? Go ahead.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Who are Israelites?
Right. So the people that he's talking about, who is the brethren, right, is Israelites. So the people of the nation of Israel belong to Christ. Go ahead. Go ahead.
To whom pertaineth the adoption?
But to these people, right, the Most High, the Ancient of Days, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, do something to these people. Right? These people have an inheritance on the face of the earth. Right? And they go to explain what is the inheritance of these people. Right? Start back from the top. Start back from who are Israelites?
Romans chapter 9 and verse 4. Who are Israelites?
Right. So the people that he's talking about, who belong to Christ, who Christ is the King, are Israelites. Go ahead.
To whom pertaineth the adoption?
Right. And the adoption pertaining to the Israelites, go ahead.
And the glory.
And the glory.
And the covenant.
And the covenants. Understand? The Israelites made covenants with the Most High, right? Go ahead.
And the giving of the law.
And the what?
And the giving of the law.
And the giving of the law. That's why the Most High said he make us to be what? Priests and kings. So the giving of the law, this book, understand? The law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High was given to the Israelites, right? To the priests. Go ahead.
And the service of the Most High.
And the service of the Most High. Go ahead.
And the promises.
And the promises, all the promises written in this book is to the Israelites. The service of God to do the things that God upon the face of the earth was given to the Israelites, right? To rule upon the face of the earth was given to the Israelites. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Who are the fathers, and of whom are concerned the flesh of Christ.
That's right. Who are the fathers and who are as concerning the flesh. Christ came. That's who Christ came for. And our son, Christ came for who? The people concerning this promises. Right? And the nature and mark according to the flesh, meaning that the lineage are the people. You understand? When you look on the earth and you look at the lineage of the Israelites, that's who Christ came for. People, he came for the people concerning the flesh. You understand? Because there was specific lineage on the face of the earth that he came for, which is the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man who belong to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? So from there, give me Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6, Baba Kisha. Right, so we now understand that the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man have a blueprint written in the scriptures. Understand? A blueprint that he was supposed to follow from the beginning. Understand? That is how we will understand his role and his function on the face of the earth, right? Give me Deuteronomy 4 and verse 6, Baba Kisha.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation.
Right, and when he say keep therefore and do them in the sight of the nation, he's talking about the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, right? He say keep therefore, and we're not supposed to only keep it and just know about it, but we're supposed to do them, right? Continue.
Which shall hear all these statutes.
They will hear all these statutes, go ahead.
And say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
That's right. And we were supposed to be a wise and understanding people in the sight of the nations. When everybody look at the nation of Israel, they will understand that the laws we have laid down, given to us from the Most High, right? That we are wise and understanding people. But that couldn't happen today because why? Today the Christian church telling the laws done away with. Understand? So all the people in the church now not following the things of the Most High. Understand? And feeling that achieving some type of spirituality when they're not. Understand? The entire Christian church going down a totally opposite road to the Most High because they do not follow or do the things that the Most High lay down to them, right? Lay down for them. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6, Baba Kisha.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
Who is what?
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
Right, so it says, for thou is a holy people, right? Unto the Lord our power, right? When I say holy, the word holy means separate. So it's saying thou is a separate people unto the Most High God. Go ahead.
The Lord thy power had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
And this is in the book of Moses, right? So Moses telling them, he making the Israelites at that time, which is our forefathers, understand that the Most High chose us to be a special people unto him, right? We wasn't like anybody else upon the face of the earth. You understand? Yes, the Most High make everybody upon the face of the earth, but Israel was a special people unto him. Go ahead.
Above all the people.
Above what?
Above all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. You understand? The reason why we are chosen and special people above all people on the face of the earth, because we were given the things and the inheritance that the Most High laid down for us. We were given that rulership upon the face of the earth, and we were given the service of the Most High and the laws of the Most High, his statutes and his commandments. We were given that authority to execute that upon the face of the earth under our King Yahawashi, right? So these are the things that the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man don't follow today. And that's where I come from, right? And thank God for the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. Now we could come back and start to follow the blueprint that the Most High laid down for us. Understand? And the example Christ set for us when he walked the face of the earth. Right? Right? You go hold First Ezra chapter 8 and verse 77, Babakisha. Right? And now when you look around today, and you turn on all the television station, or you walk down the street, some street, the street short. Understand? Them streets is about half of a block in America. Understand? And it have about 4 or 5 churches on it. Understand? So some of them have one type of church upstairs and the next one downstairs. First, it's getting ridiculous now. Understand? They're taking advantage of them islands. Understand? Because they realize that could profit of our people ignorance about the scriptures, right? Because we don't know who we are in the scriptures, right? And a lot of them know. Have a lot of pastors who profess to know about the Bible. Some of them is even heathen. And understand? Heathen nations. You understand? Yeah, East Indians and Africans, right? Yes, local, them local children are white. Understand? So some of them have churches up in the north. Understand? And then you have the traditional churches like the Anglican and the Adventists, and Jehovah's Witness, all of them, everybody professing, right, to know about God, right? So
I guess
well,
and that is big one. Oh God, up in the mountains, Mount Saint Benedict.
Mount Saint Benedict, you understand? Them high up in the mountain. Yeah, you understand? Right? And all the denominations professing to know about the Bible. Right? Yeah, give me First Ezra chapter 8 and verse 77, Babakisha.
First Ezra chapter 8 and verse 77. And for our sins and our fathers.
For what?
And for our sins and our fathers.
Right? So you see, and for our sins. Understand? So when we read the records that our forefathers laid down for us, right? Give me which scripture you want there? Can I catch up with you?
First Ezra 8 and verse 77.
Right. Right? And it say for our sins, go ahead.
And our fathers, we with our brethren and our kings and our priests up unto the kings of the earth.
Who we have given up to?
Up unto the kings of the earth.
That's right. And understand, for our sins, right? Our fathers. Who was our fathers? The men what? Before us. Understand? Right? So the men before we, right? We with we brethren. Understand? So all the brethren around us, right? And the people who was our kings and our priests was given up to the kings of the earth. And that is what happened to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today. And that's where I'm coming from, right? We get sold into captivity because we did not want to follow the things that the Most High laid on for us. And that's where I'm coming from. So the whole nation went down into captivity, right? Continue it.
To the sword.
Right? So we went down to the sword, right? A lot of people die in slavery. Understand? We try to make slavery revolt. Some of we get killed out. And that's where I'm coming from. The African fighting we on one side. I take wrong we up to try to sell me to the white man to bring me across on the ship. Some of we dead on the ship. And understand? A lot of inhumane conditions we face on the ship. And understand? Because when they hear you tied down as a slave on the ship, and understand? We're going to defecate. We're going to pee. And understand where I'm coming from? All them women see them monthlies. And understand? They feel they're going to stop the ship for you to clean up yourself and then bring you back on board? No. And understand where I'm coming from? It was on top of one another. So imagine the type of smell and disease, and understand that was lurking, and the conditions that these people was living under. And understand it was a very terrible condition, right? And then they just want to tell you what about forget about slavery. That is the most evil thing that God could say. You understand where I'm coming from? And that's written in the records, in the scriptures, for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. And understand nobody could tell you about slavery. And understand rather than one of your own. Because all the other nations never suffered this type of slavery, in no part of the earth. And understand this slavery resonates with the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today, right? People still remember the slavery, right? Go ahead, Babakisha.
And to captivity.
And we get sold to the white man into captivity. Hence, we hear in Babylon the Great, America, right? And all down the islands and all Colombia and Chile and Argentina, all of we get sold into slavery, right? And understand, because all the Native Indians who down in Argentina, Colombia, Chile, right? The native language was Hebrew. And understand where I'm coming from? And all of a sudden, we're talking Spanish. No, Brazil talking Portuguese. You understand? Trinidad talking English, Jamaica English. You understand? Why? Because we get sold to be enemies. You understand? So that mark still upon me today because we still speaking the language of the oppressor. That could show that the stain of slavery is still on me today. If you want to watch it from a language perspective. You understand? Right? That oppression still on the black, Hispanic, and Native. So even though people bawling about the independent, Trinidad independent, we are our own. And understand? We still speaking the oppressor language today, which is English. And all the Spanish still fighting up with Spanish and Portuguese and all the different language. And understand? All them predominant place with the white man settled. And understand? Even languages like Dutch, right? Is a break off of German. I think it's German or German. You understand? Because that language comes from Holland. You understand where I'm from? Which is a haven for the white man now. You understand? So all them language that spread across the predominantly in the Caribbean and South America is the language of the so-called white man. And as I like to show you the mass rampage that they make across the Americas. You understand? The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man still had a fight up with that today. All right? Continue.
For a prey with shame unto this day.
That's right. And we still facing that shame today. You understand? We still in the bottom of society. We still, imagine the year 2021 and we still boiling about Black Lives Matter. And we in 2021. We life in matter yet. We still fighting for we life to matter. Imagine that. You understand? And that is really the mess. You understand? That the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. You understand where I'm from? Mexico still suffering from the drug epidemic, and Mexico and Colombia. All that is because of the white man. Because all the drugs, after it done process and clean up, it didn't stay in Colombia, it didn't stay in Mexico, we're going to America. You understand? That is where the consumers is. You understand where I'm from? It making down here, but it's shipping across the. And some of them shipments even pass into Trinidad to go fight England. Next place are the white man again. That is what it is. And that is how the black man end up one of them places. And it's we who get killed in the jungles trying to make cocaine. And understand? Last time they showed you a documentary in Colombia. You understand where I'm from? They make a entire military squad just to kill drug dealers, and the drug dealers is what predominantly our people. Understand? Because they do know the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So that is the life they live in. That is what they do to survive. You understand? Which is that terrible thing, and they get killed out for it. You understand? While the people who using it, them enjoying themselves. Them is lawyer and doctor and up the. Go ahead, Sasha.
Yes, like I said, and that's the thing you're talking about on the drugs and thing. I remember you really white man all he went and say something on to Trinidad and thing, right? So you see the people in Trinidad and Tobago think when they get all these amount of drugs, think and they put it out on the news and think this amount of drugs they're whole and thing. Think it's a big amount of drugs, way so much a million. But you see there's nobody this thing way bigger than anybody in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, could think about.
Because we mentioned this is like this, right? They're making sure Trinidad is one of the points for them drugs to pass. So the drugs what we get in the country, is a thank you damn like somebody do our work for you.
Yeah.
And they decide
And they get payment.
Yeah, they decide to give a little something to go and eat and drink.
Yes.
They say this is the payment and thing whereby you say, but that day that's a thank you. That's why I'm laying this part to.
That's
right. You can all each of this part and let's get a little scrum.
Yeah.
And
that is like your payment for keeping the goods, and then it's going on. And then when you look at who getting the payment, and understand from these things as the elite and here in Trinidad, and understand because we don't continue to run no big shipment. Who paying for them big loan? Them pirogue that are catching with drugs, them that main one the hustle. But when they them big yachts that come down in Trinidad here going on in Chagarama, who's stopping that? Nobody's stopping them thing. We don't watch them yet and you see the whole all kind of people in Trinidad waters, all kind of thing. But I never see the stop a yacht yet and say, well, we search one of these yachts and we find X and nothing like that. Then I say, all them yachts just sailing in Trinidad and going to Chagaramas like it was a free fall. I'm telling you, and they're sailing from island to island, no passport, nothing. Them just sailing. And that's how I come from, right? Who want these places to make sure and check that these boats don't have no guns and ammunition and drugs and things like that. All them things. And all them things is what has contributed to the downfall of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, because we know on the bottom end, understand? And the bottom end is where that is where the police operate. The police operate at the bottom end. That is where the people that get hold to make news. And then they look at that as a sort of black men that have, understand, on the news and saying them is the culprit. And then that time them will be get paid maybe $1,000 self, more like plenty. Understand? Because the real people behind it, them nowhere to be found. You understand? Them living and enjoying the lavish life. You understand? Over the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man sweat. You understand? But if now we people got to understand that these things we're not supposed to be doing from the get-go. If we could understand this early, right, and come back to our laws and our statutes and our culture, understand, and we can understand that these things is not of the Most High, and all people can move away from these things, then no, they don't happen. It will force them to do the work. You understand? Them go out and make drugs, understand, and walk through all the bush and all through the jungle and all the things to get wherever they want to get. Understand? And then no, it don't happen. They will fight among themselves. You understand where I'm from? Just like we watching certain aspects in American society, the fighting among themselves now, because you know why? Black boy ain't doing that. Then as we realize it's all breaking the wrong pressure on we stay away from that. You understand? And now you're seeing my vote outside fighting one another. And that is what's supposed to happen. Go ahead.
And so I guess it goes to see if we start follow the Most High, I think them started do what they have to do now. Now that's why you see them fighting among themselves. Now they go start to see more suicidal thing coming from them and all too.
You know, I know that there's a major trait with the East Indian in Trinidad. You understand? When they hear things get too hard, that is like a stigma in Trinidad. Once things get too hard for East Indian, he pulling that rope. Two things, rope or Gramazon. And imagine that's a trait. And it's not like to say the black man is gone, will be always gone violence. That trait stick on them. You understand? They like to kill themselves. But as they get too hard, you understand? They kill themselves. And there's a stain on the East Indian man in Trinidad.
So I guess then I think I'm not mistaken, I think one end up calling the brother and he drink Gramazon when they reach your man.
Yeah. And then the next one when he lost he working was one of them steel plant.
Yeah.
When the steel plant closed.
And the metal.
That's right. And then he lost he work, he kill himself one time.
Yeah.
And that's not where I'm from, because that is how them stick. And I'll get hard, you kill yourself. You understand? Drink Gramazon. You understand? You and your wife follow drink Gramazon. You understand? And plenty of them surviving because of alcohol. Because if it wasn't for that, they kill themselves already too. You understand? Because that way them resort to. And that is where the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man had to separate. You understand? Come back to our culture now and our style and our way, how we used to do things of old. You understand? Because we just feel that it do apply today, but it very much apply today. You understand? Because a lot of people just feel that the people of old was illiterate and dumb. You understand where I'm from? And that is not true according to the Bible. And according to the scriptures, and according to the wisdom in the scriptures, we could see the glorious thing our forefathers did in their time. Understand? And it still applied to what today. Understand? We could still apply today and not be brute beasts upon the face of the earth. And our basic thing is the dietary laws. And that's where I'm from. And that's showing you how mad this world is. Them eating bat and monkey and getting all type of disease. And a basic law in the Bible, such as the dietary law, if you follow that, you'll escape a lot of sickness and a lot of disease that facing people in the earth today. You understand? Right? So it's there because of the sin of our forefathers, we end up falling away from the things that the Most High set out for us to do. All right? From there you go jump to give me 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 12 about Kusha. Right? And what the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man had to understand today is that the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA provides the tools for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to come out of all these ridiculous things that are facing us in the face of the earth today. Understand? Because the men of the Lord, the generals, captains, and the men over us, right, have the blueprint, understand, for us to navigate out of the stairs that is set up for us in this fallen empire, which is called Babylon the Great or America. Understand? The I.S.U.P.K have those tools for you to escape from drug abuse and adultery, understand, and homosexuality and all the ills of society that we face today. All right. You have the 1 Corinthians 12 and 12.
1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 12. For as the body is one.
The body is what?
For as the body is one.
All right. The body. So the body is supposed to be one. You understand? The people are supposed to be one. So we're coming out as a separate people, right? As one. Go ahead.
And had many members.
Right? And the body have many members. Many members in the body. Go ahead.
And all the members of that one body, being many, are one body.
That's right. You understand? So it's plenty of we. You understand? But what all of we had the what? Same spirit. We had the same vibe. You understand? We had the same mind. You understand? All of we fighting for the kingdom of the Most High to return upon the face of the earth. Right? Go ahead.
So also is Christ.
And so also is Christ. You understand where I'm from? Right? Christ not separate. Everybody carrying the same spirit. You understand? So I can leave Trinidad and go in I.S.U.P.K Jamaica and after fitting and blending as one. You understand? Because why? We carry the same spirit. You go to UK, you carry the same spirit. You understand? You go down to Brazil, same spirit. You go to Haiti, same spirit. You understand? You go in 125th Street, Harlem, New York, same spirit. You understand where I'm from? So everybody is one. And that is why the I.S.U.P.K is under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. And that is why commanding GEN.YAHANNA does always say, and especially during this season, during the Passover, is always saying for all camps to what? Do what? Come back as what? One. And understand? Because Christ do have a set of different bodies all over the earth. It's one body. And understand? And that one body is the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA, the I.S.U.P.K where it all started, right? From there, right? You give me 1 Corinthians. All right, stay right where is there, right? Because the next one we're to read is 1 Corinthians 12 and 13, right? So you go hold right there, right? And what a lot of people don't understand today is that when you look around today, right? The Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, so the Most High give you this blueprint to follow, right? And nobody want to follow the rules in the book, right? But when a man, let me say a man going to be a dentist, right? What you have to go and do? You have to go and do what? Study to be a dentist. And understand? And the dentist go have what? Textbook. You have courses you have to take. Understand? Right? And you might have different practical exams you might have to do. Understand? And then now you will come out a junior dentist. Understand? And you have a senior dentist with you. You might just be the man, the man with the hose just sucking out the spit. That's all you're doing. You understand where I'm coming from? Until he is my tell right, today is your day, right? You go pull out your teeth and you go start to move up. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? If you want to be a doctor, it's the same thing. You understand where I'm coming from? You have to go almost years to study to be a doctor. I think it may about 7 or 8 years, somewhere around there. You understand? So come out to be a doctor. Then when you go into the ranks, you will come out to be a junior doctor. All they might be doing is giving people injection. You understand where I'm coming from? And then you graduate from there and they might tie up and bandage some wounds. You understand where I'm coming from? They might deal with a couple burns until they reach the point where they're doing what? Surgery. Then you become a specialized surgeon and so it growing. You understand? Lawyer, the same thing. You understand? You had to go and learn to study to be a lawyer. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? And then you have different levels. You know what they say, you cross the bar. You understand? Then when they start to reach up to the top they call it senior counsel. You understand? Well, locally here in Trinidad. You understand? And then you have them with the who still copy the traditional England to wear the white wig on top of the head. And I call it, I think it's justice or something like that. Right? That was a specific name for them.
Yeah.
And I just show how they're still carrying that slave master tradition. You understand? Imagine you that judge in Trinidad in 2021 and still carrying the white wig they used to wear a long time. Understand? In the court. Right? And that just show how white supremacy still reign on the face of the earth today. Right? So we saying all that, understand? If you want to be a mechanic, understand? You can't just dig up. You have to learn. Somebody had to teach you. You understand? Then you have to study all the different parts of the car to different things do. You go start to make sense to you. And then you will begin to understand. And it's the same way the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man had to learn the scriptures. That is why they need to come in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA. Somebody had to teach you. Understand? And then what? You will grow through the ranks. Understand? Then you will get to understand the things that are written in the Bible. Then you go and get to understand the way how the Bible written. They say the Bible is a black man book. You go understand it now. The things that speaking in the Bible, we can understand. You understand where I'm from? Look like Job. Job say he was saved by the skin of his teeth. We can understand that. You know what I mean? He gave it from there was a narrow escape, it was close. You understand where I'm from? We can understand because why? That is how black people talk. You understand where I'm from? That is why we can understand book. No, if it tells some white man that no, he gave by his skin of his teeth. My teeth have no skin, I have gums. You understand? Right? He can't understand that because I know his style of speech. You understand? And the speech in the Bible is the way of a black man to talk. Right? So all these type of things now, they wouldn't get in the Christian church. So you wouldn't understand the Bible because you're understanding the Bible what? From a white man perspective, because all the education coming up all through school, that is how you learn. You learn from that perspective. So you find the Bible hard to understand. Understand it. You can no longer understand the everyday speech of the black man. Right? And that is what the black man and Hispanic man and Native Indian man need to do today. Need to be taught the Bible. And the place that teaches the Bible and teaches the righteous way of the Bible is the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA. That is the only way you'll be able to learn and understand the things that happen in the Bible, right? So you give me 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 15, Baba Kusha.
1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 15. For by one Spirit are we all baptized.
I'm going to say, Salakia. And I want to say, for by one Spirit are we all baptized? Are we all taught? For one Spirit, we all taught. All are we the same Bible. You understand? When I speak to you, when I speak to you, you're not speaking anything different from me. Because why? We learn the same thing. You understand where I'm from? Just as we learn from the men above we. And the men who taught the men above we, them speaking the same thing. Straight up the line, straight up to command in GEN.YAHANNA. You understand? And command in GEN.YAHANNA following the same thing, the same blueprint. So the same thing Christ lay out, command in GEN.YAHANNA again, straight up to the Most High. And that is how it is operate. You understand? So nobody going off and doing their own thing. When you look at the Christian church, everybody going off and do their own thing. And as one should say that we don't celebrate Easter, next should say we don't celebrate Easter. And them celebrating Valentine, the next one not celebrate Valentine. Everybody doing their own thing. You understand? One church one thing the woman they're telling the woman do just that way. Next thing is yeah, you can go and just that way. One thing saying we don't celebrate carnival, the next one saying yeah, bring the carnival parade in my church. You in my church are the wrong way. You understand? Just like Roman Catholic church, you understand? That the carnival parade in the church. You understand? Then our next Roman Catholic priest come out, he said, nah, let me bring out a band. You understand? And so it keep going. So it's just madness going on all over. You understand? But in the I.S.U.P.K under command GEN.YAHANNA, that don't happen. Everybody speaking the same thing and doing the same thing. You understand? Although we're different, we although with many members, we had the same spirit and the same vibe, and that same vibe that comes straight from the Most High. Right? That was all on the Corinthians.
Like that's some more.
Go ahead.
Whether we be Jews or Gentiles.
Whether we be what?
Whether we be Jews or Gentiles.
That's right. So back then in the scripture, the Jews, right? The people who or the tribe that was in Israel, which was predominantly Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi, right? The thought that was different at that time. The thought that was different from them outside. Understand? Because them outside, they never grew up in Jerusalem, so there ain't nobody law, right? And some of them dressing like how the other nations does dress. Understand? Until Paul come and tell them they're the same people. And understand where I'm coming from? They're still a Jew, just like today. Understand? So when I say Jews or Gentiles, just like the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin still belong to the same nation. They have I.S.U.P.K and Naphtali and Reuben and all the other tribes about. All of these what? One. You understand where I'm coming from? So when we come into the truth on that command in GEN.YAHANNA, we're not gonna be different. I know you're not gonna hear about you where you from I.S.U.P.K, but you're not supposed to be here. You never hear that. You understand? Because we're one nation. We carry the same spirit, and all of we go to what speak the same thing. Right? Go ahead.
Whether we be born or free, and have been all made to drink into one spirit.
That's right. We all make to drink into one spirit. And whether we have what? The spirit of the Most High. That one vibe. That one way however the Most High does do things, that is that spirit that coming down in the I.S.U.P.K and that command in GEN.YAHANNA. You understand? You're not gonna find nothing different. You understand? So you're not going to find a man teaching rape on one side. You understand? And on the next side, a man teaching adultery and all them kind of madness. Everybody will be teaching what? The same thing, speaking the same thing, having the same mind. You understand? And the same understanding, right? I believe that is an idea, right?
Can.
Right. Right. So no matter what the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man do, you will always continue to be under this criticism unless what somebody teach you a different way. Somebody teach you what? A better way how to do things, right? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 16, Babakisha. Understand? So the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man need to be retaught about the Bible, because the Christian churches and all the religious denominations that we are in does not teach the correct thing that it, about this Bible. All right? Go ahead, Babakisha.
Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 16.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers.
Right. So this was coming up to the end of Moses' life, right? So the Moses tell him he will sleep with his fathers. Go ahead.
And this people will rise up and go a whoring after the gods, strangers.
That's right. And the people will mean the Israelites, right? Because he get old now, right? And he come to the end of the life, if he's not there again, the people will do what they want. And understand? And everybody go just fall to pray to the other nations, right? Go ahead.
Strangers of the land, whether they go to be among them.
That's right. So when they go to inherit the new land, which is the promised land, right? If the Most High didn't make and set certain rules and things in place, the whole nation will just fall apart again, right? If a nation go have a leader, the whole nation will fall apart, right? Go ahead.
Whether they go to be among them and will forsake me and break my covenant which I have made with them.
And they will break the covenant, right? And when when they break the covenant with the Most High, right? You're in sin. I understand because you no longer follow the things of the Most High, right? Go ahead.
Verse 17. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured.
Right? And when the Most High hiding face from you, understand? Most High no longer dealing with you. The things that the earth will devour you, because now you're not moving in the wisdom of the Most High. All the laws, statutes, and commandments that they give up and choose not to follow, now you will fall victim or prey to the other nations, because the other nations lawless. Understand? They have no rules. Understand? So wherever them think up as a rule, you fall victim to that now. Understand? So just like today in America, understand? They implement homosexuality, right? If you are no guide for your life and for your household and for your children and for your wife or whatever, them go fall victim to it. Understand? Because it has no rule to follow. But if you in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA, now you have a guide for your family. Now you could say, nah, we're not doing this, we're going this way. You understand? But for the people in the world, whatever happen. Understand? They fall victim, right? So any law that the other nations make, and then they will end up paying the punishment for it, right? Go ahead.
And many evil and trouble shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, and not these evil come upon us, because our power is not among us.
That's right. And that is where the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man will understand, even in this day. And as time will come when you understand, right? When they will understand that is because we forsake we power, these evils coming upon us. So when the I.S.U.P.K on the streets, understand? And anyway, they say when we're in the streets screaming, and they find we talking too hard, and why you talking so loud? Understand? Because we're trying to explain to people and trying to tell people and trying to warn people, understand, about these things that happened in the past. Understand? If we continue to forsake things at the Most High, these punishments will come on me. Go ahead, officer.
So like I said, and that come just like our brother don't mind me, right? So he meeting me, and that's why I say, but you're wrong, these other gods and them, right? And they go for sick. So whenever he keep on watching the classes, I see what I am. I see what I anything Monday, I see what I Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So I say to myself, no, you watching these classes for everything, and forever you still keeping on these, you still keep dressing with these Muslim gong and all these things and them, and like, you know what I say? It's so thinking like he himself, it can come out to him still.
No, and it's a hard thing for some people, because you might it's years them in that. You understand where I'm from? And that is why the prophets on that command in GEN.YAHANNA just keep going on the street. You understand? We just have to keep going. The scripture say I think Noah preached for 100 years. You understand? And still it was only he and his sons and the wife. You understand where I'm from? Right? And whatever animals that the Most High tell them to put in the ark. You understand where I'm from? Preach for 100 years and nobody listened until what? When they realize it now, the water rising and things stopping, then everybody started pouring on the same boat, because they was calling him a madman. You understand? You mad? You building a ton of water, hot sun shining. You understand where I'm from? Nobody analyze you, but when they realize the water started rise and it didn't stopping, and it started reach your chest and it started reach your neck, and the man started climb up tree. Then understand where I'm from? And climb up all kind of tall decking, and they realize the water still coming. Then they realize no.
Well, that man was saying.
When the man was saying was true. You understand? So it's a serious point to bring up there, because that's serious warning. You understand? Because you can be there and just watching. And at the time when they really make up your mind to say, well, I will do it now, it might be too late. You understand where I'm coming from? And they got to face that rat that will come upon, that was supposed to be for the world. You understand? Now you gotta face it because you remain outside. You understand? So it's a scary thing when you think about it. You understand? So that's a good point to bring up there, Babakasha. Continue, Babakasha. I think it was at could start working about 17.
Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 17. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured by many evil, and trouble shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, and not these evil come upon us, because our power is not among us.
That's right. At the end, then they realize, wait now, where the man and the I.S.U.P.K was saying was true. You understand? They realize, wait now, that same man with the big beard, tell me that about it. You understand? Yeah. You understand? And it might be too late, right? Verse 18.
Verse 18. And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evil which they shall have wrought in that day are turned into other gods.
And that's the main point for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. That's one of the main struggle for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Yes, we be struggling with all different type of things that go on in society, but one of the biggest struggles is other gods. We love all them other religion, all them Egyptology and Islam and any new thing that come out, we in it. You understand? As a new church open, it's full. You understand where I'm from? Until what? The pastors and abuse people. And if we find out your son get money, then that way the congregation is at a drop. You understand? But when it's not open, it's full. You understand where I'm from? Because we like all these other goals. We like to mingle with all these other goals of the other nations, right? Go ahead, Baba Kesha.
Verse 19. Now therefore, write you this song for you, and teach it the children of Israel.
That's right. So the Most High tell them, write the song, song for them, and teach it to the children of Israel. And that was what the Most High laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand where I'm from? Just like I.S.U.P.K every day. You understand? Monday to Friday, like a song in their ears every day. Go ahead.
But it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel.
That's right. You understand? So that constant ringing in the ears over and over, that would be the witness against them, because you know it inside out. You understand? That tell how well that was taught. You understand? They were doing it inside out. Go ahead.
Verse 20. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I have swear unto their fathers.
That's right. Go ahead.
That floweth with milk and honey.
So when you bring them into the land that flows with milk and honey, go ahead.
And they shall have eaten and filled themselves and waxen fat.
That's right. And that a black man say, after they like to say, when we eat it again, niggeritis. And I find that local term down here, because when they forget, they become relaxed, right? Go ahead.
Then will they turn unto other gods and serve them and provoke me and break my covenant.
That's right. So when they become comfortable and everything going good, you understand, and you understand nothing, you understand, all the children eating thing nice with you, you understand, that is when they do the most set of wickedness. You understand? And a good example of that today is like Christmas. Because after you work the whole year, you understand, you break your back, save up your money, understand, and you full up your house, you have beers by the truckload, you understand, all kind of food to eat. That is when what? The harm does come out. You understand where I'm from? That is when the most of the evil does come out. You understand? That is when you're drinking the most and getting so drunk that you don't know yourself. You understand? Because that is when you're waxing fat and become full. And you become relaxed, right? Go ahead.
Verse 21?
Yeah.
Verse 21. And it shall come to pass when many evils and troubles are befallen them, that this song shall testify against them, as it was witness, for it shall not be forgotten out of the mouth of their seed. For I know their imagination, which they go about even for now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear.
That's right. And he write that to testify against them. And so in the time when we waxing full and we forget, when the evil befall them, when the bad thing happen, then he doesn't remember. After you get locked up in prison and you sit down and you drunk this out, and you come back sober, then you realize, wait now, yeah, boy, the man really tell me that, you understand? And look why now, you end up locked up. You understand? Or you end up with some disease. You understand? Or some strange thing happen to you. Right? Or sometimes you lost a family member. You understand? All because, you understand, we forget the things that the Most High. You understand? We forget the things that the blueprint that the Most High laid on for us. We forget when the prophets tell we on the street. You understand? When he was screaming at the top of the lungs to stop eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You understand? And they pass him in Port of Spain straight. Whap! You understand? Because pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, but they always say, I eaten pork for years. You understand? Until what? The doctor come until they cancer. You understand? Or some type of arthritis in your joint. You understand? And your joint start to take fluid. All these things. You understand? But you will remember even when it was too late. You understand? Came up with 22 Barakasha.
Verse 22. Moses therefore wrote this song the same day and taught it the children of Israel.
And he wrote the song the same day. And we do when he write it the same day.
Taught it the children of Israel.
And he teach it to the children of Israel. Somebody had to teach you. You understand where I'm from? Right? And when you go through all through the scriptures, understand? Christ was taught, Paul was taught, Isaiah, Jeremiah, everybody. You understand? You understand? Even when you go down to the Ethiopian eunuch, you understand? You see how shall I understand this unless was some man guide me? Understand? And that guide is that the teacher. You need a teacher to understand. And that is what the I.S.U.P.K is. The I.S.U.P.K providing that tool for you. You understand? It's providing that way to be taught. You understand? So now you will be able to understand the things written in the scriptures. You understand? Now you're going to understand that the law is not done away with. Now you're going to understand that you're not supposed to celebrate Christmas and Easter and Halloween and all the pagan festivals that are on the face of the earth today. Now we're going to understand you're supposed to celebrate the high holy days that the Most High set out for us. You understand? Look, we have Passover coming up on the 24th of April. You understand? One of the biggest, you understand, high holy days in Israel. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? Them is the kind of thing we're supposed to be celebrating, not the things in the world. You understand? That set up in this empire to make us keep stumbling. You understand? Right? So and Moses, he make it in a song and teach it to the children. So that way they all remember. You understand? Just like that's how people be walking around singing cartel. That is it. It's that ringing in the air. So you know not to commit adultery, not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You understand? Right? Not to sleep with the next man's wife. You understand? Not to be a homosexual. All these kind of things. You understand? So you have that constantly. And now when you do something now, you will know what I do was wrong. You understand? Right? I break these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Right? And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man do understand. Just like every profession, right? Where they get what? Experience. You understand? The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, when you come in the truth and understand the things that the Most High, days where you go work, build muscle. Days where you get the experience to be stronger and better in the things that the Most High, right? And fight off the evils in this world and all them demons that are constantly battling every day, right? So give me 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 12 Barakasha.
So I guess
go ahead, Officer.
That's why we are singing or you will be singing it and all in here, right? They reach a point now, even when you download the Bible on the phone, they have voice activated thing now reading out the Bible.
Reading for you. So you have no excuse. Literally, and that's a big point because even in Revelation tell you when you come before the Most High, you will be speechless. You had no excuse. You understand where I'm coming from? Because it had everything. You put prophets on the street, Bible singing, you get a Bible up on your phone, you understand, your computer, TV, radio, everything. You understand where I'm coming from? The internet. You understand? Classes every day. I.S.U.P.K under command of GEN.YAHANNA. Jamaica, Trinidad, England, United States, Mexico. You understand? Brazil, Haiti. You understand where I'm coming from? You have no excuse. You understand? And that is how it will be. You will be speechless when it comes to face the Most High. Right? You have no excuse to give them. You can't say, well, I didn't have internet. You understand? Because internet becomes so accessible now, it's a shame. You understand? The average common man has internet now, right now. And if you don't have internet, you know somebody with internet. And if you have no internet at all, the prophets come out on the street. You understand? Where you can literally walk up to them and ask questions. You understand? So, and the prophets from the ghetto. So it's not to say like they're in some high gated community lock up somewhere where you can't have access to them. They're in the ghetto just like you. Walking through the supermarket, making groceries just like you. You understand where I'm coming from? So you have full access to the prophets. You understand? So so they will literally have no excuse when that time comes. Right? Give me 1 Peter 4:12 Baba question.
First Peter 4:12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you.
Right. So you say, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials which is to try the what? Try the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Understand? And that is the only way. That is the only way of how we go. And that's where I'm coming from. When they begin to understand the things that the Most High set up for you, that you're going to face very difficult circumstances. And that's or what may appear to be very difficult circumstances. And that's because when they begin to not celebrate Christmas again, everybody gonna tell you, but how you celebrating Christmas again? You eating ham? Boy, I know you eating ham over 15 years now. You understand? But when I start to follow things that the Most High, all them different demons and temptations will look to come behind you. And that's where I'm coming from. All kind of things they want to persecute you about it. I hear that priest now, but you're drinking there. And that's where I'm coming from. So then you have to explain to them, yeah, you could drink alcohol. And but you're just not supposed to be a drunkard. And understand? Not every Monday morning in a cardboard box like down inside the road because you're too drunk. And that's where I'm coming from. Them things against the Most High. But you could drink alcohol. And that's where I'm coming from. So when you had to explain all these things now, you ain't celebrating Valentine's Day again. And understand? All them girls mad because you ain't buying no teddy bear for them again. And understand where I'm coming from? No, everybody mad at him. And understand? Because you was the man. When that time of the year come down, the short again a teddy bear. You understand? The short again a box of chocolate. And understand? That was the Valentine's Day man. No, he changed. He doing the things where the Most High say to do. He celebrated the high holidays where the Most High say to celebrate. And understand? He ain't celebrating Easter again. So he ain't just not training in Easter bonnet hat. And understand? And going parade down the road again. And so now everybody, all the parents in the school mad at you because your child not in Easter bonnet parade again. You understand? And all these things will keep coming up. All sins. You lighting no candle, you have no respect for the dead. You understand? All them things. You understand? But you don't know the person who died and done gone back to the Most High already. You understand where I'm from? And the Most High go regenerate them when he choose back on the face of the earth again. You understand where I'm from? So you know that person nothing in the grave again. But for people in the world, they're going year after year after year after year to clean the grass that they never clean whole year to light a set of bottle candle. You understand where I'm from? And see the celebrating the dead, which is an ancient pagan tradition. You understand where I'm from? So all these things will come against you. And that's where I come from. Go ahead,
So like I said, and before they go on, say they don't talk about like drinking and like drinking wine, drinking wine and things like that. Planning before they go and call a friend and go and drink wine and go and talk. They're going in the they're going in the cemetery and talking to the dead.
And understand? Right? It's a lot of madness that be going on. You understand where I'm coming from? But in the I.S.U.P.K, these is the experiences, and you will begin to build muscle, and you will be when you continue to come to class, you will be able to understand how the Most High does really operate and the ways he does move. And understand? And when you begin to be around like-minded people and around your brothers, then they will begin to understand the true power, understand, in the Most High, and understand, you will be able to effectively use the tools that the I.S.U.P.K under command Gen.YAHANNA given out for free, because he's not charging them for it. And no way in the I.S.U.P.K you're getting charged to come and hear the scriptures. And that's where I come from, because that's the first thing the Christian chooses do. As they reach the part of the collection bucket one time, ain't hear a word yet. You understand? But under the I.S.U.P.K under command Gen.YAHANNA, you could come and get the word free. You can get any scripture breakdown you want. You can tune into the classes, and if you want, you can come attend the physical class, right? Under the I.S.U.P.K under command Gen.YAHANNA, right? Give me Ecclesiastes 2:1, Baba Kusha. Yeah, Baba Kusha, Tawada.
Ecclesiastes 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Prepare your soul for temptation, right? Because all kind of strange things that we want to come out. And as just like we talk about Christmas and Easter and all these kind of things, these are the battle you have to face. And way the way the battle you have to fight is against many things in the world. And understand? Many things that I will try to keep you in that place, to keep sinning against the Most High, to keep breaking the laws of the Most High, to keep celebrating all them pagan holidays, right? And worldly traditions that the world wants every man in this empire to continue to do, right? Continue.
Verse 2. Set thy heart all right, and constantly endure it, and make not haste in thy times of trouble.
That's right. They gotta constantly endure. And as something come up, you're ready to bust out. And I can't do this night too hard. That is not true. And the Most I say, he law is not grievous. And I'm coming from. So every man is capable of doing it. And following the laws, statutes, and commandments that he laid down for us, right? I see we coming up on the time, so I'll let's jump on this article. And we're gonna understand the battles. These some of the battles that men facing every day, men and women facing every day, and because they don't have a structure how to deal with these things, it causing and leading to the ultimate demise, which is death. Understand? And is unless the Most High regenerate them and send them back to the face of the earth to continue to strive to do it again. You understand? Right? And this is an article in the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, right? And the headline in the Guardian reading, 2 teens, man 60 and 4 murdered. Right? Man stabs wife to death after accusing her of infidelity. You understand? So apparently the man in this article, understand? Yeah, when that the wife sleeping with somebody and he stabs to death. All right? And all these things happen because why? The Christian church teaching you that all is well. You understand? You don't follow no laws, no statutes, no commandments, and because the many blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indian men and women, ignorant of the laws of the Most High, these things keep popping up. You understand? Because we keep stepping outside the bounds of the Most High, and we ultimately facing the punishment for it. All right? So this we're saying here, it's say the criminal element went on a rampage yesterday, killing 3 people, including two teenagers and a 60-year-old man. Right? So 4 people get bust up in one day. Right? Because that as I say, that bad spirit pass upon them, right? And here it's saying, in another incident, a San Fernando man stabs his girlfriend to death before taking his own life in a domestic related matter. Understand? So he stabbed his girlfriend to death and then he killed himself, right? In the latest incident, police said mother of 3, Adana Alin, 35, was stabbed to death by her common law husband inside her building 5 apartment at Embacade, San Fernando, sometime before 7 p.m. Police said around 7 p.m., Allen, a relative of Allen, discovered her body soaked in blood inside her apartment's bedroom. Her common law husband, Dwight Waldrop, also was known as Kwan, was found hanging in a nearby room. All right, so apparently he stabbed his wife to death and then hung himself. Right, a relative of Waldrop, a security officer, had accused Allen of being unfaithful during an argument. However, they said Allen, an employee of Pop and Stock Bakery in Vista Bella, was a quiet and pleasant woman. They said the couple had 2 sons together, but they were not at the apartment at the time of the incident. San Fernando Police and officers from the Homicide Bureau of Investigations, Region 3, responded. Hours before, right? So there's a couple of stories in one, right? So this first story here, the man killed his wife because he found out she unfaithful. And understand? So a whole family get destroyed. Understand? Just because the way to deal with it, and if it's true and the woman really sleep with somebody, cause that whole family to be destroyed because it can't nobody to properly deal with a situation like that. It can't it's just lawlessness. You understand? Because it was never taught to deal with a situation like that. You understand where I'm from? Right? Your wife sleep with somebody, that is not your wife anymore. You understand where I'm from? Right? She break that bond. You understand where I'm from? So that she wasn't supposed to depart and go she way and you go your way. You understand where I'm from? But in a situation like that and nobody not there to guide the weapon, rage take him and he stab his wife, he commit murder, and he take his own life. You understand where I'm from? And that is what Christianity does do. You understand? Because the teaching these laws done away with. So you using your own imagination and mind and trying to figure out a way how to deal with it. And anytime man use his own imagination and his own opinion enter, that is where chaos has happened. You understand? That is where destruction has happened. Now there are 2 children with no parents. You understand? Because it has no law at the most to deal with that situation.
Like I said,
go ahead, Sasha.
And even with that and also here the next Christianity thing that's coming and all that is they will say the woman although she committed adultery, right? And she dead, they will say she will see the Most High face because the man now kill himself. So now they say as long as they kill himself and thing, you can't see God's face. So as long as she didn't kill herself, and she dead, she can still see the Most High face. But the man can't see God's face because he killed himself. So as long as they kill himself, you can't see God's face.
And that's a lot of Christianity that's coming, but the Most I say you're going for judgment, and don't feel escape punishment. And I said a man can live his whole life on the earth, he's a murderer, and people know him to be murdering people and live his whole life straight up to 90 and dying in the bed, apparently peacefully. And understand the most I say never escape. And understand you still had to go before that judgment. And they never know he's sending back on the earth in a very terrible condition. And he had to bear that this new life and bear whatever burden that he gave you to carry on in that new life, right? Right, and then they say, you know, in our next incident, right, hours before this, police officers were on a crime scene at Bonnet and Ruka up till late last night and said that I.S.U.P.K 15 was believed to have been in the wrong place at the wrong time when he was killed. Duke was fatally shot about 3 p.m. while seated in a car that was parked along 12th Avenue off Circular Street in Bonnet Gardens. Police said the boy was waiting on his mother, who went into the community for a job interview. However, he was unknowingly parked in gang territory. Police said a gunman approached the vehicle and fired about a dozen shots toward Duke. Just right, and this young man died. Right now, when the police look at the investigation, they get to realize that he don't really have no gang tie, however. And understand, but his mother leave him to go into the community to sit together to look for a job interview. And as I'm going from, and even when you look at all in proverbs and things, I tell you, a paraphrasing, but do who actually alleviate a stranger, lest he shed your blood. And understand? So when you start to understand things in the scripture, there are certain places that a man will venture to go just so, or he might go unarmed, or he might leave a train in a certain place. And understand for me, when you go in the Roman Catholic Church and leave your son or your daughter, because you understand that your son or daughter could be molested. You understand from that is going because parents at times could be unknowingly lackadaisical. And understand? And they just say, well, when my child going Sunday school, so they just send them by themselves. And understand from that time the priest abusing them. And understand, just like a couple of I think it was the last year before, a couple of women come out about the priests and monks and Benedicts, and who abused them for years, and they still didn't have the belly to talk about it until they reached big women. You understand where I'm from? So then now that gap, let me say, if it take them 18 years to talk to bring it out, how much more training in that 18 years they have used? You understand where I'm from? So them is the kind of thing that you'll be facing. So when you know if you go in certain places, and then now all the showing the oppression on black people too, because you don't even have a way to lead a train. You understand where I come from? So you have to carry them with you because you have nobody to look after them. You have no father in the house. All these kind of things just come up. You understand? And you have to be juggling the train with you while you're going to work and all these kind of things. And unfortunately, the young man meet the demise. You understand where I'm from? Right? So it's a serious thing. And if you don't have that guidance and proper brothers and sisters to help you through this situation, you understand, the outcome does most likely be fatal. You understand where I'm from? Because in our body we have people to depend on. You could say watch my son for me. You understand where I'm from? And you want somebody proper to look after your son and this, and you could go and handle the scene and do what you're supposed to do. But in other places they can't do that because you have nobody around you who you can trust. And understand, nobody in that circle to properly defend it with you. And understand, and you have nobody over the home to watch over, and it will lead to unfortunate things happening in the home. And understand, because you have no guide over the home, right? And we'll just go through this next story here and we will close off, right? And this is another unfortunate one too. Right? And then you know, the article saying the day started off with the discovery of a body of a missing teenager, Christopher Cummins, right? So Christopher Cummins was a teenager. They started to look for him a few days before because they realized he's missing. And nobody couldn't find him, right? And he was 17, right? Cummins' body was found under a pile of galvanized sheet in a park off Achong Trace, Tunapuna. a stone throw away from where he lived. This was discovered by I.S.U.P.K workers doing a beautification works in the area. Police said that the boy was shot several times in the chest and upper body. Cummings was reported missing last Friday. Speaking at the family's Balthazar Street home, Cummings' sister, Crystal Allen, said she didn't know why her brother was killed. She described her brother as a cool, humble, and respectable young boy. His relatives expressed anger over what they claimed was the police inaction in taking their missing persons report seriously and the lack of interest in sending out search parties to look for the teenager. So apparently they went to make a report by the police, and the police didn't really take it as urgently as they should, right? And they didn't even really send out nobody to search while he was missing, right? And then the saying here, we don't deserve this, and Christopher didn't deserve this. He was never locked up by the police for guns or for weed or robberies. Once he was growing his hair, and this is a part to note here, right? They say once he was growing his hair and didn't have it flat, right? So he didn't have it in cornrows, it was loose out like an afro, right? So he was growing his hair and right, he was growing his hair and he didn't have it flat, so it was like an afro loose out. And police stopped him and told him by his appearance he would be judged, and being a respectable person, my brother was, he went and cut his hair after. So the police told him, because of that big fro you carrying there, we go mark you. You understand where I'm from? And it frightened him so much that he went and cut his hair. You understand? That I tell you the oppression the black man facing. You understand? So when the police tell him that the man he go by the barber and cut off the hair on the head, couldn't even grow the own hair on the head, right here in Trinidad, right? And this is in 2021. You understand? Why? Because he respected, right? Because he's saying he respected the police and what they said to him. But it's not that he know the police that profile people like that. You understand where I'm from? All right? The ones that black man, he started grow out a beard, baby. They have a fro, they're immediately profiled as a criminal, right? Or a bad element in society, right? And all other races growing the hair straight down. These are all the back. Them are not criminals. You understand? All those sleepless nights we spent looking for Christopher, and he was right under our noses all along. We went to the Tunapuna police station on Saturday afternoon, and the police turned us away, saying they had no receipt to give us to come the next day. They showed us the receipt book empty. Right? We went back again Sunday and nothing again. Right? So when I went to the police and made the report that he was missing, the police said they don't have a receipt. Right? And the receipt is where they just give you when they make a report. They just give you a receipt to prove that you really come and make a report in the station. That is your way of showing that you didn't come and make a report. So the police say they have a receipt, they have a receipt book, we can't take the report. So they never take the report in the police station. Right? So they leave them on their own and their brother missing. Right? This morning, Tuesday, right, which was the last few days, after 1 a.m., they came by us to gather information. So then 1 o'clock, after a few days passed, 1 o'clock in the morning, they come to take information, 1 o'clock in the morning when everybody's sleeping. At such an hour, when people are supposed to be in their beds, them now coming to take information because they realize now the story is starting to get big. Newspaper picking it up. She added, we are poor people. If my brother, listen to this party, if my brother was white or had an Indian name, the police would have done something. That is why people are breeding monsters out here. You understand where I'm from? So based on the interaction that I gave with the police, they say that the service just naturally poor because poor from the police service just because what the black. You understand? And she say if it was somebody white or somebody Indian, the service would have been much better. You understand? And I just read out this small snippet here from it to show people where the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man facing today. And all this we're going through, all them bad report and killing and all these things, is because why? The black man have a blueprint written for him in the scriptures. And the only place to learn about this blueprint is under the I.S.U.P.K, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. These where we understand the real war we fighting. That spiritual war we fighting against all these other nations in the world that are against the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. And if we don't realize it, we will continue just to be ignorant of it, and we will continue to suffer all the punishments, understand, that come to us by not following the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High laid for us. That righteous way that the Most High laid for us to live, that protection for us, understand, in these perilous times that we face it. Understand? So come in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA and learn about your history, learn about your culture. Understand? Learn about proper structure for the family, how to guide the family and how to navigate the family through the perils in this kingdom that they call Babylon the Great or America. And with that, we'll pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shah. Yeah, I'll get it.
Sick.
That's the Lord's Prayer. Yeah.
Security announcement via the I.S.U.P.K out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. The rules for brothers and sisters: when a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to another brother or sister. There's another 6 months which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Type, which is the commandments. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in Hebrew, as well as Mishra. 10% of every penny in peace. The Most High gives you to a treasury department or teacher priest fund. Period offering for priests, non-mandatory, whatever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. That will be the Passover. This will be the 14th day of the first month. That will be Saturday, April 24th, 2021. You can find this in Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 to 54, and Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4 and 5, and 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 and 8, and 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 17. Remind your accounts and watch them to check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. If your brother wants to be a true pilot school, then you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, light shirts, light pants, light headband, scarf. That we say, madam, la corner for them. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Quadas. Hayah. Shamka. Yahweh. Malwaka. Matazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Baratiza. Kuwa. Hayah. Hashemayim. Natan. Lanawa. Lakam. Kal. Yawam. Masalaknawa. Wakinawa. Pasalakinawa. Wakinawa. Mala'a. Kabiyanawa. Asayawan. Abal. Hoshayna. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Malakwa. Wa'ala. Tapara. I will love you. Aman.
What we said in English was, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever, so be it.
So, let's get a teacher one courtesy salute. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak. Yehovah Shema Shabrakata.
Yehovah Shema Shabrakata.
Yadimata. Sa. Let's get a sisters online one courtesy salute. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak. Yehovah Shema Shabrakata. Yadimata. God's